We welcome you to British Columbia, one of Canada's most picturesque provinces. And today it's the site of this Western Conference showdown in MLS NEXT Pro as Vancouver Whitecaps 2 takes on Real Monarchs on this Sunday evening in Burnaby, Canada. Hi everybody, John Gross with you on this Sunday evening, getting you set for this matchup. Vancouver enters today in 6th place of the Western Conference, 5-6-3 on the year, coming off of a wild 4-3 win over North Texas, trailing twice in that match, still coming out with a 4-3 win, and 3 straight victories for Ricardo Clark's squad entering today. So his team in proper form entering this Western Conference showdown against Real Monarchs. So 21 points in the standings for Vancouver Whitecaps, 19 points for Real Monarchs, just 2 points separating these two teams. Bit of a logjam in that middle portion of the Western Conference table. Real Monarchs, just like Vancouver Whitecaps, on a bit of a run, also on a run of their own, 4 straight without a loss for Mark Lowry's side, now at 4-2-5 in this season. Most recently, a 1-1 draw with a 5-4 shootout win. Let's take a look at the Whitecaps starting 11 for Ricardo Clark. It is a very young roster available for selection today. 4 starters are academy players. 5 substitutes are academy players. That includes the starting goalkeeper, Isaac Francoeur, making his professional debut today. He's been available for selection a couple of times, but hasn't actually seen playing time. Also unavailable is Nelson Pierre, who is with the Whitecaps' first team today in Los Angeles. The MLS NEXT Pro Golden Boot leader unavailable, so it's Selemani and Elumi atop the formation for Ricardo Clark, who will look to carry the load on the attack for one of the league's most dynamic attacking teams, second in the league in goals this season with 31. And for Mark Lowry's Real Monarchs side, more of the same compared to what we saw from Whitecaps, who have significant changes. Kirkleet gets the start in goal, but there is a notable absence. Griffin Dillon is out today, a key piece of this team. He does not get the start, but Luka Moisa does get the start in the midfield, a young player who hasn't played since late April, getting an opportunity to start today, the 17-year-old out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And then atop the formation, it's Grayson Carter, a RSL Academy player who makes his first start of the season. Just about set to get things underway in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. Happy to have you all with us. John Gross with you on this Sunday evening. This Western Conference showdown, just 2 points separate these two sides in the table. 21 points for Vancouver, 19 for Real Monarchs. We are making our way towards the stretch run of the 2025 campaign, so postseason positioning starting to take shape, and we are underway. Real Monarchs and Vancouver Whitecaps 2 on this Sunday evening. Monarchs in the white tops, Vancouver in the all-blue uniforms. Second meeting of the season between these teams. First one was a good one, a 1-1 draw back on May 3rd, which culminated in a Whitecaps 3-1 shootout win. Real Monarchs, its first match in 14 days. It has been quite some time since Mike Lowry's side last took to the pitch, and it's a poor giveaway early on as Alumi brings it in, lets it fly, and sends it just wide. Ryan Alumi, who has been on a tear as of late, 2 goals and 3 assists over his last 2 appearances, nearly bagged an early stunner. And you do wonder if we will see a bit of rust from Real Monarchs, given that this side hasn't played since June 15th. Though Mark Lowry did point out that his Real Monarchs side is used to navigating some prolonged stretches without matches. They've had some long stretches already this season. He said he doesn't think it'll be tough to keep the momentum going after this break. Again, 4 in a row without a loss for his team. And the going gets a bit tougher as the season progresses. We won't see any long breaks for Real Monarchs the rest of the way. Final 17 matches will come without a bye, and an average of just 5 days between matches. The visitors on the heels of a 1-1 draw and a 5-4 shootout win, though it is given away once more. It was Jesus Barea who scored the equalizing penalty kick to force the shootout. Barea played in the Real Salt Lake match last night against Sporting Kansas City. That was a 1-1 draw. Played just 1 minute as a substitute in that match. Calderon blasts it long, and it skips out of the reach of Ruben Masales. Here's our first whistle of the match from Saman Sultani, our match referee. Free kick on the way for Ricardo Clark's side. In the midst of this season-long 3-match winning streak, a 3-2 win over Minnesota United, 2-0 win over LAFC, and 4-3 last time out against North Texas. A match that saw Vancouver trail twice and still overcome those 2 deficits to win. Ricardo Clark said his Whitecap side has been able to put everything together on both sides of the ball as of late. It was a bit of a slower start, that's for sure, but things are clicking now for this team. And he added that he loved his team's ability to respond to those 2 deficits against North Texas. Difficult win to claim 3 points, but his team was able to do so. Sandoval muscled off of it. Here's Sandoval again. Masales tried to slip it through, couldn't do so. Masales leaves it out for Zach Farnsworth. RSL homegrown player who's gone the full 90 in his last 3 appearances. Masales. Carter has to take it off of him as it's played ahead. Elumi works 1v1. Elumi now 1v2. Elumi dances in the area, well defended by Gio Calderon as it's rolled. And ricochets wide, but a corner kick on the way. Max Kirkfleet had a tough time handling that strike. And our first corner of the night. It was Elumi. Tried to work 1v1, but Gio Calderon, a confident tackle. And then the long distance hit from Jackson Castro. Not all too threatening, but does win a corner on the misplay by Kirkfleet. Castro from the corner flag. He has been lethal as a distributor this season. 5 assists for Jackson Castro. It is an in-swinger that stays in the area, batted down by Kirkfleet and cleared free. Tsuji plays it out of the reach of his intended target, and a throw coming for Real Monarchs. Navigating this 4-match unbeaten run, Mark Lowry said this recent run of success has really come from 2 different things that his team has done. One is previously they were dominating matches, creating chances, but not able to score. And then they'd concede in a counter, and a match that his team should have won ended up being just a draw or even a loss. He said now they've made a concerted effort to certainly finish off those chances, get numbers into the box, attack with urgency. And they've also made a concerted effort to defend against counters. And his team has been much improved in that department as of late. Marquez, a bit heavy of a feed, and a throw for Vancouver. Marquez. Here's Moise up. 17-year-old's getting the opportunity to start today. His first appearance in just over 2 months. So some young guys getting chances for both squads, most notably Vancouver, with 9 academy players on the team sheet today. 4 starters, 5 substitutes. As this is worked out wide, Anderson plays it in. And Castro able to roll it away. Moisa. Here's Marquez. Anderson leaves it wide. Working 1v1, rolled across on the back post, it's banged home. Ruben Masales puts it in, and Real Monarchs in front. Though he may have hit the post. Let's take one more look at it. You see Masales, left side of your screen, just hovering around that back post. As that ball just pops through, and Masales, oh, he does go down. You see him holding his face at the back of the goal. Either way, it is his 3rd goal of this season. And the Sarasota, Florida native who comes from a soccer family. His dad played for the Spanish futsal national team. His grandfather played in La Liga as a goalkeeper. Now has his 3rd goal in his first professional season. And it's Real Monarchs on the board first in the 8th minute by Ruben Masales. The former All-ACC player at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. One of the premier college soccer conferences in the United States, the ACC. Moisa makes that run, and he's dragged down. Will be a free kick just outside the area. Dangerous spot for Real Monarchs to work from. Searching for an early 2-goal edge. Marquez and Arcani stand over it as it's on frame. And Francoeur has his first professional save. Isaac Francoeur making his professional debut today. A longtime member of the Whitecaps Academy, getting an opportunity to start. We had seen Alexander Milicevic, the goalkeeper for most of the season for Vancouver. But it's Francoeur who gets the start today, as Aiden Hezarkani readies from the corner flag. 4 goals and an assist this season. Send it away. Lifted back into the mixer. Francoeur able to fist it away as Marquette rolls it on frame. And that ricochets out for another corner. Last off of Dalen Velios. Well, Marquez had a window here as this was fisted away by Francoeur. And Velios does just enough to ricochet that out for a goal kick. Velios, the Burnaby native, playing his home matches with Vancouver in his hometown. This corner played short. Owen Anderson dances. Anderson whips it back post, and it sails out for a goal kick. Real Monarchs has really asserted itself through the first 12 minutes of this one. Of course, the goal proves that, but the way this match has been played, it's been a lot of possession in the attacking half, in and around the attacking third. That would give it away, brought in by Luca Chen, the 17-year-old out of the Whitecaps Academy, one of the 4 Academy players in the starting 11, 5 Academy substitutes available. A boatload of guys on the Whitecaps 2 roster normally are up with the first team today, as this one is lifted in for Djordjevic. Tries to cut it across and wins a corner. That's what this Whitecaps team can do. Can break so quickly. They could be dangerous out of possession. And Nikola Djordjevic wins a corner. But as we were saying, significant second team players with the first team for Vancouver. A couple of those guys out on international duty, including Sebastian Berhalter, who is playing right now with the United States in Gold Cup play. And Canada dropping a heartbreaker in a shootout earlier today against Guatemala, as its Gold Cup run ends prematurely. Corner from Jackson Castro. Hovering ball, headed down and in! Whitecaps level things. And it's Mark O'Neill, his 4th of the season. Set piece magic. And we're tied in the 15th minute. That's just a matter of a guy getting his head in a ball and hoping for the best. And it proves to be fruitful. It's the 4th of the season for Mark O'Neill, who heads home a ball from his former college teammate in Jackson Castro, who now has his 6th assist of the season. A combination that used to grace the fields of Omaha, Nebraska at Creighton University out of the Big East Conference. Both of those guys, former all Big East Conference players, now combining to wreak havoc against opposing defenses in MLS Next Pro. And it's Castro to O'Neill to make it 1-1 inside the first 15. As that's one back by Carter. Anderson. Mile high delivery. Masalis got a head on it. And whistle blows as Francoeur does win the free kick. Francoeur making his pro debut today. He has been available for selection a few times this season, but hasn't played in an official match, though he did see time in some preseason friendlies. And Ricardo Clark said the biggest thing for him today is just to realize that this game does not define your career. What happens today is a learning experience, win, lose, or draw. But it is a fantastic opportunity for him to get his feet wet, get his first professional opportunity. And there are a couple of substitutes who can do that as well today, as Masalis is bumped off of it by Mark O'Neill. As Arcani works on Russo, leaves it for Moisa. Comes out for Sandoval, and that is hit well off target for a goal kick. "17 minutes through this Western Conference showdown. Just 2 points separate Vancouver Whitecaps and Real Monarchs in the Western Conference table. 6th place to 10th place. We are level at 1 as Djordjevic leaves it wide. And Selemani leaves it well off target for a goal kick. Clark whisks it away. And right back by Real Monarchs. Here's Moisa. Ahead for Sandoval, who is clipped down. And a free kick awarded to Real Monarchs. Masalis. His feet broken up. Calderon, bit of a precarious situation, and he runs out of real estate. Throw in one by Vancouver. As we near that 20-minute mark, this is where Real Monarchs really starting to settle in. Team that hadn't played in about 2 weeks, and there's always that question when you go that long without playing, would there be any sort of rust to start things off? I'd say the answer has been no so far. Getting the early goal. They've been effective, though they did concede in the corner. As Djordjevic will launch this in, a long toss, headed away, and Carter knocks it clear. Sandoval. Heavy touch as it's given away to Luca Chen. And then a disastrous play right in front. It's Grayson Carter who couldn't put it on frame. A golden opportunity for Real Monarchs. And Whitecaps to do just enough to prevent a second from being conceded. It would have been Carter's first goal today, making his first start. Wanted to head towards Clark and out of the reach of Mateo Clark, the 18-year-old out of the Whitecaps Academy. Sandoval. Here's Massalis, the goal scorer. Back in the 8th minute, his 3rd goal of this season for the first-year pro out of Duke. And it is interesting that already 2 goals in this match, both finding the back of the net in the early goings in a matchup of 2 teams who are without their top goal scorers on the season. Jesus Perea tied for the Real Monarchs lead with 4 goals this season, unavailable for selection. Nelson Pierre, same situation for him with Whitecaps 2. As that is rolled ahead, Selemani tracking after it, and Kirklead off his line to bring it in. And despite the loss of Pierre being unavailable today, since he's with the first team in Los Angeles, Ricardo Clark emphasized it's the next man up mentality, and he touched on that in response to a couple of questions that I asked him about his team this weekend. The academy guys filling the void of Nelson Pierre. Next man up, that is the mentality for this team, and certainly mentality that you see across this league, given the amount of roster fluctuation that we have from first team to MLS Next Pro to the academy, up and down, up and down. It is next man up. Opportunities galore in this league. Here's Marquez. Farnsworth. Massalis. Farnsworth again. Moisa. Heavy touch from Farnsworth. Takes an awkward deflection. Massalis able to chest it down momentarily. And he does win a corner. Chevrolet is proud to be a partner of Vancouver Whitecaps FC since 2023. Together in this stadium, together on the pitch, together let's drive Chevrolet.ca. Low service that finds side netting, and a goal kick for Isaac Francoeur. This ball lifted ahead towards Selemani. Moisa. Physical challenge And a late whistle, free kick awarded to the visitors. Zach Farnsworth, Gio Calderon restarts the action. First-year member of this Real Monarchs side. Does have some impressive international experience with the Puerto Rican national team. The native of North Haven, Connecticut. Moisa. Anderson. Has Arcani. Carter angles it wide. It is kept in play. No, that is just over the end line. Monarchs extending this press. It proves to be fruitful, but only momentarily. Oh, that is friendly fire as Yuma Tsuji just took one to the face. Whitecaps looking for the whistle to no avail. Here's Farnsworth, homegrown player who joined the RSL Academy back in 2017. Has worked his way into a first-team contract. Has been a mainstay this season with Real Monarchs, today making his 9th start in 10 appearances. Moisa. Here's Sandoval. Massalis. Works 1v1. Massalis sneaks one across. And a free kick on the way. Here's Chen, one of the 4 academy players in the starting 11 for Vancouver. Lifted ahead for Salamani. Jockeying with Massalis. Sandoval able to stab it forward and then blasted clear. Did take a deflection, however, and a throw coming for Vancouver. Looking to extend this 3-match winning streak. Real Monarchs trying to remain unbeaten in 5 in a row. 2 teams finding their stride as the season progresses, which can be so difficult to do in this league just given the amount of roster fluctuation. Every team will go through at least one rough stretch where they just can't seem to pick up a result, but both teams right now in proper form as Arcani makes his approach. Arcani dances, rolls, and it's wide. Did take a deflection and a corner coming. Aiden Arcani has had a breakout season this year. He was eyeing his 5th goal of the year. Young player, just 18 years old. Plays with a boatload of confidence. And Mark Lowry said this year he's turning the quality that he showed last year into goal contributions. He said he's really matured in his game, the way that he plays. And that has been evident with the production that he's had. And he is the one to stand over this at the corner flag. Ball in from Arcani. It's a dangerous one. Headed away. Calderon recovers. Calderon switches. As Arcani dashes towards the area, leaves it wide. Anderson drives it across. Headed, but only as deep as Farnsworth. Carter can stay on it, comes out to Marquez as we near the final 15 minutes of this first 45. Both teams scoring despite being without their leading goal scorers in the season today. Marquez tries to slip it ahead. Oh, and a physical challenge. Djordjevic slow to his feet. And it will be our first booking of the match. And it goes against Zach Farnsworth, the Park City, Utah native, shown yellow in the 31st. And good to see Djordjevic on his feet, able to walk it off. Hard challenge after the yellow by Zach Farnsworth. BMO is proud to be a founding partner of Vancouver Whitecaps FC since 2006. Join the Bank of Soccer at bmo.com. And it's given away. Illumi had a toe on it. Castro, who has one assist already. Castro hustles after it, able to keep it in play. And then he did knock it out for a goal kick. You can see the quality that Jackson Castro brings. He now has 4 assists over his last 3 matches, including today. Had 2 assists last match in that 4-3 win over North Texas. The first-year pro who, according to Ricardo Clark, has had a seamless transition from the college game to the pros. Selemani taps it ahead, and Kirkfleet gets there. Flag was raised regardless. Max Kirkfleet making his 9th start in 10 appearances this season. The 21st pick in this year's Super Draft out of UConn, where he was 10th nationally in goals against average, just 0.77. And along the way, had 8 clean sheets in his all Big East Conference season for the University of Connecticut. And he was one of 8 college players selected by Real Salt Lake, in the Super Draft, which is the second most out of any MLS side, only behind Colorado Rapids, who had 9 draft picks. So there is a clear sense of direction and strategy of where this RSL franchise wants to find its talent. As Marquez dashes ahead. Here's Masalis. Farnsworth. Moisa. Arcani. Arcani loops it in, headed away. Djordjevic jockeying his way forward. Quite the run here by Djordjevic, who then draws the whistle. The strength is evident for the first-year pro out of Austin, Texas. Vancouver's 45th pick in the 2025 draft out of Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. the Mustangs of SMU. Oh, that is lovely. It's Castro, unable to flick forward. Contact, the edge of the area, no whistle. And it's Daniel Russo who went down. A perplexed reaction after not drawing the whistle. Inside the final 10 minutes of this first 45. Ruben Masalas, the 8th minute goal. Mark O'Neill, the 15th minute goal. Two sides separated by just 2 points in the Western Conference standings. Vancouver in 6th place can, with a win, move into a tie for 3rd, depending on what happens elsewhere. Suji has the takeaway. Djordjevic now works 1v1. Djordjevic's cross is blocked out for a corner. Well defended by Zach Farnsworth. Third corner of the match for Vancouver. And it was from this very corner flag that Jackson Castro linked up with his former college teammate Mark O'Neill to find the back of the net. Take two, perhaps. This one better defended. It did make its way over the touchline. You see Ricardo Clark meandering alongside his team's dugout. Joined the Whitecaps organization and the coaching staff back in 2021 as a first-team assistant coach. Had a prolific professional career. Was a United States international, including playing in that memorable 2010 World Cup, which saw the U.S. advance out of the group stage. Landed Donovan that iconic goal against Algeria. Clark, part of that team for the United States. On the opposite side, Mark Lowry, his second season leading the way for Real Monarchs. The native of England does have coaching experience in the United States, previously at the USL Championship level with El Paso Locomotive and Indy 11. Here's Marquez, has space. Shot couldn't get through, it's Marquez again. Has Arcani. Marquez, stabbed away from him by Castro. That's off the corner flag, stays in play. Marquez pops it across, and it's knotted away. Farnsworth drives it through, and it's brought in by Isaac Francoeur. No trouble on that shot for the debutant today. TELUS now offering pure fiber internet across Canada. Djordjevic, flag stays down after a lovely long ball. Djordjevic pops it across. Soleimani sends it just wide. Whitecaps playing direct there. Djordjevic just left on mark. Lovely run behind. Perfect feed in Soleimani. Just not clinical enough. He has scored once this season, the Edmonton, Alberta, Canada native. Promising young player, the 17-year-old who signed his next pro contract earlier this month on July 7th. And then 7 days later, he made his first team debut on June 14th. So a young player with a lot of promise in this Whitecaps system. That fade well read. Bit of space to work with out wide. And a corner coming. This will be the 5th corner kick for Real Monarchs. The side that has dominated possession today. +4 in shots, +1 in shots on goal. And soon to be +2 in corners. Have also had nearly twice as many total passes compared to Vancouver. Aiden has Arcani to send this in. Has that lethal left boot. In swinger. Popped out to the edge of the area. Sandoval heads down. And it's knocked away. Moisa serves one in. Moisa's ball brought in by Francoeur. Francoeur making his debut today. Ryder Sewell on the bench. If he plays, it would be his debut. Antoine Nemi on the bench. Again, if he plays, it would be his debut. Just a young squad today. And that is a clear-cut yellow card as Ryan Alumi is dragged down. Might be the easiest call that Simon Sultani has to make today as our match referee. Gio Calderon, the one who's shown yellow. And Calderon is down. This is the first stoppage we've seen in what has been a pretty brisk moving first 45. We saw a goal for each team. Masalas in the 8th minute, 15th minute goal by Mark O'Neill to tie things. And Calderon shown yellow in the dying minutes of this first half. Two teams who matched up very closely earlier this season back on May 3rd. A 1-1 draw, a 3-1 shootout win for Whitecaps 2. But it is a different looking Whitecap squad today with the amount of young players. No Nelson Pierre as well. Same goes for Real Monarchs. No Jesus Barea. Griffin Dillon unavailable. Two instrumental pieces for Mark Lowry's Real Monarchs team. Calderon, because he did require the medical crew to come on and check on him. He will have to depart, if only momentarily. Free kick on the way in the final minutes of this first half. Lifted towards Djordjevic. And it will be a goal kick for Max Kirkfleet. First ball won by Castro. There's Georgievich. Georgievich turns on the Jets. Headed out wide towards Selemani. And a throw-in coming as we near stoppage time. Initial indications suggest 2 minutes of added time. And we will have 2 minutes of added time confirmed. Calderon getting ready to re-enter. Anxiously so. You can see him leaning over as it's lifted ahead. And one touched by Russo for a goal kick. Russo, guy who has some MLS Next Pro experience. He's in his first season with Vancouver. Signed a Next Pro deal. He's also signed a short-term deal with the first team already. So he's impressed fairly quickly, the Jackson, New Jersey native. Another one back out there. You see 55, right side of your screen. Good to see him back in the pitch for Real Monarchs. Final minute of stoppage time. Still time for one last build. Farnsworth launches long. It sneaks all the way through for Illumi. And innocently returned to Max Kirkfleet. Farnsworth in the dying seconds of this first half. Moisa finds Masalis, the goal scorer. Sandoval. Carter. Here's Marquez. And there is the whistle. We have played 45. There is nothing to separate these sides. A goal apiece in Burnaby, British Columbia. Whitecaps won, Real Monarchs won through 45 minutes. First half highlights and stats are coming up, but first, our April Marie Aguilar sat down with a pair of Tacoma Defiant stars. The first is forward Yu Tsukunome in part one of Player Profile.
Welcome to this edition of Player Profile. I'm April Marie Aguilar. Joining me today is Tacoma Defiance's Yu Tsukunome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So Yu, what got you into professional soccer?
私は、小さい頃は、J リーグの大宮アルディージャっていうアカデミーでプレーしていて、そこから、中学生高校はマッチクラブでプレーして、高校は普通の、高校でサッカーをしました。大学から、関西の大学に行って、そこから、全国大会3位に4年生の最後でなって、そこから、J リーグのクラブに練習を参加をしたんですけど、そこで、契約は取れなくてどうしようかなってふうに思っていた時に、アメリカに行くっていう選択肢があったのでそこに行きました。そこで、僕は NPSL リーグで、3ヶ月間プレーをして、見事、ゴールデンブーツを取ることができて、シャトルサウンダーズのセカンドチームにトライアウトに来ることができて、次の年からサインをすることができました。
So, how would you describe your playing style and what sets you apart?
はい、私の長けているところは、試合中に、頭を使ってしっかりと考えることができるところと、試合状況によって、プレースタイルを変えることができるところだと思います。あとはゴールに、直結するプレーだったりとか、アシストとかゴールを常に狙っているところが他の選手とは違うところだと思います。
How has your time in MLS Next Pro helped you develop and evolve as a player?
まずは、若い選手が試合に出れるっていうところの経験を積めるっていうことが、試合に出れるっていうことがすごく大事になってくると思うので、若いうちはたくさん試合に出たりすることで試合感覚だったりとかを養えると思うので、そこでたくさん試合に出れることは僕にとってはすごくいい経験だなっていうふうに思っています。
You and Azaza de Rosario are both in the race for the Golden Boot. What is both of y'all's relationship like out on the pitch?
はい、僕はあんまりそのサゼとゴールデンブーツを争っているっていう感覚はなくて、僕はチームが勝つためにサッカーをしているので、サゼのこともたくさん見ているし、僕とサゼの関係はすごくいい関係だとお互いは思っていると思いますし、はい、すごくやりやすい関係でいてます。
What does a successful season for you look like alongside Tacoma Defiance's season?
僕が、タコマでプレーしているのはやっぱり優勝したいからここに来ているので、みんなと今シーズンは去年達成できなかった優勝っていうところを目標にしてやっているので、はい、今シーズンは絶対に優勝できるように頑張っていきたいと思います。
Well, thank you so much for the time, you. We wish you all the best of luck this season. And thank you so much for you all for watching this episode of Player Profile. Be sure to tune in next time to see who I'll be speaking to next. For now, I'm April Marie Aguilar. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This summer, the center of the soccer world is right here. The world's best, the world's game, all in your backyard. 4 major moments. One summer like no other. Learn more at MLSsoccer.com/summer.
Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
Action!
The youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan. Luna. Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Welcome back to Swangard Stadium at the half. It's a 1-1 game. Whitecaps and Real Monarchs level through 45. We'll take a look at our busy upcoming schedule, recap the first half in a moment. But first, let's rejoin April in Tacoma, this time with midfielder Sebastian Gomez in part 2 of our pair of player profiles.
Welcome to another episode of Player Profile. I'm April Marie Aguilar. Joining me today is Tacoma Defiance's Sebastian Gomez. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you've been a part of the Sounders FC organization since 2017. How do you feel like you've evolved as a player since then?
I think throughout the whole entire time that I've been here, there's always been like DNA throughout the club, and they always remind us like to be disciplined, and throughout the whole entire club just give us like pointer tips throughout the whole time we're here. I think something that's really important is that they have like a set way of playing, and when you learn that, I think you really find success in moving up the ranks. And yeah, all the coaching staff, like very helpful. I think each one plays a really important role in having and making your development. So it's been a a very fun ride so far.
And just last year, you graduated high school,
Yeah.
scored your first professional goal, your first brace, and you played alongside Tacoma Defiance in the playoffs, all in
Yeah.
a span of a few months. What was that period of time like for you?
It was, to be honest, like the one word that came straight to my mind was electric. Like it was a great time, you know. I think I was having so many good achievements, and it was really just that momentum bringing me throughout the whole season. Just it felt good, and you know, I'm trying to bring it into this season and hopefully like finish out strong, just like last year. Like let's get a result. Hopefully become champions would be great.
And you're such a young player still, but already you've just mentioned you've been able to accomplish so much. When you take a step back and you look at your journey, is there one specific moment that stands out from the rest?
I think the moment that stands out for me would be, I know this is kind of like weird for me to say this, but I think like when I got injured, because I did have quite a big injury. I had a stress fracture on my L5 vertebrae on the right, and it did put me out for quite a while. But I think like looking back at that, it really opened up doors for me, and it made me realize like I gotta fight, come back stronger. Like I've been knocked down, but how do I come back, and how do I like bring myself back up and keep pushing? I think that was actually a really important moment in my journey so far. And I think that taught me a lot of things throughout my career so far.
I love that you mentioned a moment of adversity, right? A lot of times players, they don't look forward to those moments, but those are the moments that do make you stronger.
Yeah.
You said that you've learned a lot of lessons from it. What lesson specifically just kind of resonates with you?
Just always keeping your head up, trying to stay positive in times where you're down, you know, like when you don't want to do something, having the discipline to do it and getting it done, and knowing that in the future it's gonna help you in the long run. And I think that's really important, like, because everyone is gonna get knocked down in their life, and I think it's important to take away the good parts and just try and keep a positive mentality and just be hungry to get better and better.
How do you feel like your coach has played a role in this mindset of yours?
Well, H, I think, has that type of mentality too, like willingness, and like he loves to push players to their limit, and I think he's done that with me. He's helped me in that way to keep pushing to my full potential. Hammering me, I guess, like, you know, like just
keep pounding the stone.
Yeah, 100%. He's done that, and I think that's been really helpful for me.
And what can we expect to see from you next, Sebastian?
Winning the league would be great. Would be a great achievement, not just for me, but for the whole entire team. You know, that would be awesome. Individually, I think creating chances more consistently for my team, you know, scoring goals, assists. I think everyone loves to do that, but I think it's important for especially wingers and attacking players to make that difference in the game and help your team get a result.
Well, Sebastian, we wish you the very best of luck and continued success on your journey.
Thank you.
And we hope that you all enjoyed this episode of Player Profile. Be sure to tune in next time to see who I'll be speaking to next. For now, I'm April Marie Aguilar. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Action!
Este verano, el centro del fútbol mundial está aquí. Los mejores del mundo. El deporte mundial en tu propio rincón. 4 grandes eventos. Un verano como ningún otro. Para aprender más, visite mlssoccer.com/summer.
Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
Beautiful night in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. 1-1 to score through 45 minutes. Whitecaps and Real Monarchs are level in this Western Conference showdown. Happy to have you with us. John Gross with you. Let's take a look at the first half that was in the second meeting of the season between Real Monarchs and Vancouver Whitecaps. We start things off early. Distance chance for Ryan Elumi, hit off target. Then it's Elumi again, who tries to make something happen. Unable to get a strike off, but does come to his teammate Jackson Castro. Calls Max Kirkfleet into question. And then it's Aiden Hazarkani, who's been so dangerous this season. A ball that just skips through multiple bounces, and it's banked home by Ruben Masales, his third of the season for the first-year pro out of Sarasota, Florida. Made it 1-0 back in the 8th minute. The chances continued for the visitors. Corner kick one, after that came off of Velios. And then the set piece magic. It's the former college teammates, the former Creighton Blue Jays, connecting Jackson Castro to Mark O'Neill for the equalizing goal in the 15th minute. Made it 1-1 through 45. Now we'll look at our first half statistics. +5 in shots, +1 in shots on target, and convincing possession stats as well. Real Monarchs have controlled this match in many ways, but the only number that really matters is the number on the very top of this graphic. 1-1 remains the score. Very competitive fixture so far. I expect to see another close half over the final 45 as well. Real Monarchs in the white kits, Vancouver Whitecaps in the blues. As the teams switch sides and we get set for the final half of soccer today. As we wind down in this busy weekend of MLS Next Pro as we approach the back half of the season. And away we go, second half of action in meeting number 2 between Vancouver Whitecaps and Real Monarchs. There was just one change at the break. Real Monarchs brought on Dominic Barrios, the 18-year-old out of the RSL Academy, who makes his 3rd appearance of the season, his first since May 28th, just over a month ago. And he replaces Brian Sandoval, the Colombian who was on this team on loan from South American Giants Millonarios. His night comes to an end. Calderon. It's a long ball that finds its target, but it was too good to be true. Flag is raised. No changes at halftime for Vancouver. Here's Mateo Clark. Has Russo in the overlap, finds Russo. Daniel Russo drives it back post, headed and saved. What a stop by Max Kirkfleet. Denying Ryan Elumi. This ball on an absolute platter. Elumi gets his head on it, but Max Kirkfleet, a tremendous save. I would say one of the best saves you'll see this week in MLS Next Pro. Does result in a corner, but what a stop to keep things at 1-1. Jackson Castro from the corner flag. He has 1 assist already off of a corner kick. As he lifts this in, Selemani couldn't get his head on it. Real Monarchs forced to just send it away for a Vancouver throw. Real Monarchs and Vancouver Whitecaps, top form right now. Season-long 3-match winning streak for Vancouver. Season-long 4-match unbeaten streak for the visitors. Looking at the right time as playoff positioning starts to take place. Also, Mark Lowry brought up a great point. The academy season is winding down, so these teams will have some of those academy guys on a more regular basis available, not only with them in matches, but also in practice. This is given away. It's Carter who picks it up. Moisa cycles it wide. Masalis drives it in, and it's offside. Castro gives it away as Anderson stumbles. There's Wes Sharpie, one of the most experienced players in the league, the 32-year-old who is a mainstay with USL Championship powerhouse club Louisville City. Calderon floats one long, and Luca Chen will allow that ball to roll out for a goal kick. Isaac Francoeur, the starting goalkeeper today for Vancouver, making his pro debut. The Whitecaps keeper has made 2 saves today. There's Sharpie once more. Sharpie, who moved to Utah to be closer to his girlfriend, Utah Royals standout player Kaylee Reel, the former Penn State Nittany Lions star. This is promising. Masalis rolls it across. O'Neal defends it well. O'Neal so stout defensively. We've also seen what he could do on the attack this season. Now 4 goals as Djordjevic hangs this up there. And Kirkfleet will watch it sail out for a goal kick. As Arcani runs into Yumatsuji. Well defended by Tsuji, member of the Canadian Youth National Team. Tsuji. There's a whistle. That hit our referee in Saman Sultani. I think it may have, and that's why he halted play. And that is a tough break for Whitecaps too. That's exactly what it is. We restart with the drop ball. O'Neal. Just a bit heavy. Was looking for Nikola Djordjevic. Those two couldn't link up. Beautiful day at Swangard Stadium, this recently renovated venue. Opened all the way back in 1969 and is named for Vancouver Sun sports journalist Erwin Swangard. He's the one who raised much of the funding for this stadium's construction, nearly $1 million for the construction of the stadium. He actually wasn't at the opening ceremony, though, for the opening back in 1969, as he was starting a newspaper in Nigeria. But his legacy and his name lives on as the namesake of this stadium. Here's Selemani. He's looking towards Clark, and it's cleared away by Kirkfleet. Chevrolet is proud to be a partner of Vancouver Whitecaps FC since 2003. Together in this stadium, together on the pitch, together, let's drive Chevrolet.ca. Marquez. Space to work with. Hazarkani surges ahead. Aiden Hazarkani leaves it central, deflected, and out for a corner. Promising build for Real Monarchs. Does result in a corner kick, but certainly could have been more than just that. It's one of those moments that if this match does remain a draw or even a loss for Real Monarchs, we may look back at it and say, oh, what could have been? Owen Anderson finds Marquez in the overlap. Marquez sends it back post, and it's tapped in. Oh, cleared away. They'll say no goal. Wow. That seemed to have hit side netting, but from the inside of the goal. No VAR, of course. Let's take one more look at it. Marquez sends it in on the back post. Let's see. I mean, that's close. On the field is that there was no goal. And again, no VAR. So it remains 1-1. Popped ahead, Marquez is offside. A couple of extremely close chances for Real Monarchs these last few minutes. You just get the sense that that breakthrough is on the way for them. But this has been the issue for much of this season. Mark Lowry said his team has done a better job at it as of late, but there have been a significant number of matches this year where his team has had plenty of chances, has had plenty of possession, and just unable to be clinical in that final third. And 3 points becomes just 1 point, or 1 point becomes 0 points. The good news for Real Monarchs is that it's not like this flurry of chances is happening in the 90th minute. There's still plenty of time for this team to break through. As Arcani. Anderson. As Arcani again. As Arcani dances, slips it across, headed away. And here comes Vancouver as it's inside out and ahead towards Salamani. Mad dash after it. Farnsworth gets there first and draws the whistle. Possession continues to be dominated by Real Monarchs. It was 60-40 in the first half. The trend remains the same in the second so far. The chances have also, again, favored the visitors. The ball clipped away. Elumi brings it in. Elumi dashes central. Elumi still on it somehow, and then finally clipped off of him. Flag was raised. And it's been moments like those, on those counters, where Whitecaps have been able to create those chances. Haven't been many chances generated with prolonged spells of possession. Of course, that one goal that we did see was off of a corner kick. We have reached the hour mark. 1-1 remains the score in this Western Conference showdown. Gonzalez leaves it wide, headed away. Sharpie able to keep it with his Real Monarchs side. This one of 3 matches going on right now in MLS Next Pro. We'll get to the scores in a moment. Anderson works 1v1. Owen Anderson. His cross deflected, and he wins a corner. Red Bulls leading Cincinnati 3-2. That match was 2-2 through 45 minutes. Cincinnati hanging tough with one of the best teams in the league in Red Bulls. And at the 17th minute, in a California duel, the Town and Ventura County scoreless in the first half. That's a Ventura County team that has been so consistent, so good all season long, and it's the next opponent for Whitecaps too. Low service, headed away by Djordjevic. Well defended by Nikola Djordjevic. And it will be a goal kick. BMO is proud to be a founding partner of Vancouver Whitecaps FC since 2006. Join the Bank of Soccer at bmo.com. Real Monarchs making a change. Its second alteration of the match as Ousmane Touré heads on. And he replaces Grayson Carter, who made his first start today. Toure, 1 goal, 3 assists in 9 appearances, now 10 appearances. 9 of the 10 appearances have come on as a substitute. First-year player for Real Monarchs, who did spend the preseason with the squad. Previously played in Panama. As Arcani rolls it ahead, and Toure, his opening seconds onto the pitch, is offside. Farnsworth wins that first ball. Suji has the second. It remains Suji, who continues his sojourn forward. Yuma Tsuji, sensational. It's still Suji! Wow, that would have been one of the best individual efforts you'd see all season if he finished that off. Yuma Tsuji, the 16-year-old out of the Whitecaps Academy. Nearly a goal for the highlight reel. It's out for a Whitecaps throw. Here's Dominic Barrios, the halftime substitute. Kirkfleet hasn't had to do all too much this half, but the one save that he did have to make was as high quality of a save as you'll see this week in MLS Next Pro. There's Castro. Castro again. Barrios links up with Russo, who was dragged down. Elevated ball. Farnsworth goes down, they play on. Jackson Castro surges forward. Jackson Castro scores! Jackson Castro has his fingerprints all over this match. An assist and now a goal, and it's 2-1 Whitecaps in front. Farnsworth and Castro tangled up. Castro continues his journey ahead. And he puts it past Kirkfleet. And what a day it's been for Jackson Castro. Ricardo Clark said it's been a seamless transition from college to the pros for the first-year professional Jackson Castro. And he has made a decisive impact on this match. The assist to Mark O'Neill on the corner kick and the goal in the second half to take the edge. Quality finish. And that's Jackson Castro, the Plano, Texas native who comes from a soccer lineage. His dad, Diego, played professionally in Chile, Germany, and the United States. And Jackson carrying on the family legacy. And he puts his team in front 2-1 with a goal. And from Real Monarchs' perspective, flashbacks that could result in nightmares if this result stands, just given that this team has struggled like this at times, despite dominating matches in some ways, just unable to finish off the job as Moisa finds Hazarkani, stays in the area. Cleared, but only as deep as Sharpie. Barrios lost his footing. And it's knocked away. But this has been something that has hampered Real Monarchs throughout the season. And Mark Lowry said as of late with this 4-match winning streak, it hasn't been an issue. That issue being not being able to finish off chances. And despite dominating matches, conceding goals, not being clinical in the area, and drawing or losing in matches that this team should win, Real Monarchs certainly has had the chances to have an edge in this one. Hazarkani. Barrios. Hazarkani. Final 20 minutes of this one. Hazarkani chops ahead. Owen Anderson now works the byline on Clark. And Mateo Clark slide tackles it out for a corner. Final 20 minutes, and we've only seen 2 changes in this match, both from Real Monarchs. But Whitecaps getting set to make a change. Corner kick is over the end line and will result in another corner. Omar Marquez will have the honors of sending this one in. The 17-year-old in waves a couple of years back at the USL level with Sacramento Republic, but joined the RSL Academy back in 2022. Now his second season playing with Real Monarchs. And he has been an instrumental piece to this team this season. Marquez leaves it short. Marquez again. Drives it in. Marquez, ball headed on frame and saved by Isaac Francoeur. Crucial stop by the debutant. It was a threatening ball, a quality ball. That's headed down by Gio Calderon. It's given away again. Here's Anderson. Massalis The goal scorer back in the 8th minute. Massalis once more. Farnsworth rolls. Moisa bags it. What a goal by Luka Moisa in his first appearance in 2 months. Levels things in the 73rd. Some quick passing. Moisa makes himself available. 1-2 strike. And the youngest signing in RSL history has the goal. It's his first career professional goal. And it levels things at 2. And we did just see a handful of changes right after that goal. Maximus Jennings, the Montclair, New Jersey native, heads on for Zach Farnsworth. And Izzy Ampara enters, the 18-year-old from Yuma, Arizona. Enters for Omar Marquez.
First substitution for Whitecaps, FC2, number 62, Luka Chen. And in the game, number 66, Sahil.
Also one change for Whitecaps 2, Luka Chen departs. And Sahil Deo heads on, his 6th appearance of the season. Played just 2 minutes last match, getting more run today. As we near the final 15 minutes, Vancouver searching for a 4th consecutive win. Daniel Russo. Ricochets out for Clark. As it stands, the 66th minute goal by Jackson Castro is the difference maker. There's Clark. Unable to slip it through. Well defended by Barrios. And Moisa down. He will require additional medical attention. Final 15 minutes of this one. This will offer an opportunity for Real Monarchs and Whitecaps 2 to get some water. Very comfortable day in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. 76 degrees. And Moisa, the goal scorer, now walking off the pitch. Moisa, who equalized just minutes ago back in the 73rd. Moisa standing next to the 4th official. We touched on it earlier. He was the youngest first-team signing for Real Salt Lake in club history, signing a pro contract at 14 years, 7 months, and 26 days old. He has climbed the ladder through the academy, now with the second team. And today his first pro goal. So Monarchs playing down a man. 2-2. Moisa being off the pitch. TELUS now offering pure fiber internet across Canada. Here's Castro, a goal and an assist today. Castro now an assist in 3 straight. This rolled ahead. Selemani, marked by Calderon, shovels out wide. Castro, lovely 1-2. This is brilliant. Rolled across the area. Ricochets out to Suji. Tapped away, but only as deep as Selemani. Johnny Selemani dodges one, lifts it into the area. Elumi could get there, but he was offside. Couple of chances for Whitecaps 2. We will see a change for Real Monarchs. Luka Moisa, who scored that game-tying goal in the 73rd minute, he will exit, and Luis Rivera will replace him. This will be Rivera's season debut. Homegrown player who signed as a 15-year-old a couple of years back. Anderson takes a spill and is awarded a free kick. Inside the final 10 minutes of this one, if we do not have a winner through 90, we will go to a shootout. Winner of that will claim an additional second point. Losing team still takes the 1 point for the draw. And given how neck and neck things are in the Western Conference, every point matters. These two teams separated by just 2 points in the West. Clark. And we are at that point in the season where you can start looking at the standings. You can see the teams in contention, the teams who have a lot of work to do to get into contention, the teams who are separating themselves atop the table. An exciting part of the season in the midst of this very exciting summer of soccer across North America. The Club World Cup now in the knockout stages. MLS All-Star Game just around the corner. Leagues Cup coming up later this summer. Gold Cup going on right now. The United States currently playing. 2-2 against Costa Rica in the 76th minute. Canada was eliminated earlier today by Guatemala. Shocking results. Penalty shootout loss for Jesse Marsh and his Canadian squad. Great read by Jennings. As Arcani leaves it back for Anderson. A heavy touch. Bodies go flying. And it will stay with Real Monarchs. Played short. Anderson. We referenced that 2-2 scoreline between the United States and Costa Rica. Both goals for the United States scored by MLS players. Diego Luna and Max Arfsten both scoring. Luna, of course, plays for Real Salt Lake, so a monumental day for the club. Luna has become one of the big names in the U.S. men's national team pool, certainly a fan favorite with just how hard he plays. Barrios tries to dance his way through. Selemani being tangled up, and here comes a card. Change for Whitecaps 2. Antoine Nemi will make his pro debut. The academy player heads on for the first time as a professional, and he replaces Mateo Clark. Deo leaves it wide. What a lovely run this is. And Djordjevic upended. Free kick from straight on. Let's see where they actually call the foul. It is a bit off to the right, but still a threatening area for Whitecaps 2. Moisa shown yellow in correction from before. Moisa does remain on the pitch, re-entering after spending some time at the touchline with the knock. Jackson Castro and Daniel Russo. The duo hovering over the ball. Searching for a late match winner. It is Russo! Oh my! Nearly put it home, and here comes Real Monarchs. Toure leads the charge. Ousmane Toure surges ahead. Toure still going. Toure turned away. What hustle to break things up. Dalen Velios in his hometown, the Burnaby native, turning away a prime goal-scoring opportunity. Let's take a look at that last chance for Vancouver. It was a rocket from Russo, and that did hit the fingertip of Kirkley, then off the crossbar. And here is the change that we expected from Real Monarchs. Moisa will exit, and he is replaced by Luis Rivera, his 2025 debut. His third season with the club, the El Paso, Texas native. Calderon drills it long, looking for Jennings. Maximus Jennings gets after it. Jennings sends it across. Jennings wins it back. Central feed. Anderson couldn't score. Corner kick coming. These defenders have done just enough to turn away these shots. Another corner on the way for Real Monarchs. Chances galore for Mark Lowry's side. 11th corner kick on the way. As Arcani headed in! Maximus Jennings, the go-ahead goal in the dying minutes. And Real Monarchs has its late lead. The first-year pro heads home what might be the winner. It's the pride of Montclair, New Jersey, who puts his team in front 3-2. The former Georgetown Hoya 76th pick in the 2024 Super Draft. Spent his final year at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. before going pro. And he has his first pro goal. And a change for Vancouver. It's Ryder Sewell who heads on, making his pro debut as he replaces Johnny Salamani. Five minutes of added time. Still time for Whitecaps 2 to rally back late. That three-match unbeaten streak in jeopardy of ending today. Lifted along for Jennings, who as it stands has the game winner. For Real Monarchs, minutes away from extending this unbeaten streak to 5. The current run of 4 is already a season long. Here's Sewell, his first touch as a pro. This is lovely as it's worked ahead. Great challenge though. These Real Monarchs win it back. O'Neal floats one wide. Deo watches it roll out. Djordjevic does have a very long toss in his arsenal. You'd imagine he'll put that on full display right here. Djordjevic heaves it in, headed away. Toure couldn't get there initially, now he is on it. Ousmane Toure wins a throw. Here is Toure. So strong on the ball. And Real Monarchs more than content to knock it around. Barrios leaves it ahead. Has Arcani, who has been so dangerous in the wide areas today, as he's been all season in the midst of this breakout campaign. Jennings lays it ahead. It is kept in play, and a goal kick coming. Here's Djordjevic. Djordjevic turns on the Jets. Djordjevic taken off of it and then commits the foul. It's Hazarkani who is slow to his feet. It's remarkable what he's done this season. 4 goals and 2 assists. The second coming today on that potential match winner by Real Monarchs from Maximus Jennings. Calderon will launch it towards Jennings. Connolly back for Francoeur. Final minutes of added time. Do Whitecaps 2 have a leveler inside of them? Here's Ryder Sewell in his pro debut. Nemi leaves it to O'Neal, who is taken off of it. Here comes Touré. Ousmane Touré accelerates. Touré leaves it off. Barrios has space. Finds Touré, and he's offside. Last gasp effort for Whitecaps 2. Sewell. Here's O'Neal. Djordjevic leaves it wide. Deo skies it, and it did not take a deflection. And now we wait for the whistle, and there it is. Make that 5 in a row unbeaten. Real Monarchs escapes on the road, a 3-2 win, courtesy of Maximus Jennings, late game winner. And Jennings came on as a substitute, and the Montclair, New Jersey native is our man of the match with his headed goal. The decisive moment in this one. It's his first professional goal. It comes north of the border. It comes late in the match, and it is the winner, and it results in him being our man of the match. Huge thanks to all of you for joining us from Burnaby, British Columbia at Swangard Stadium. For our entire fantastic MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm John Gross saying so long. Our final score, Real Monarchs 3, Whitecaps 2. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.